Welcome to our meditation time on this Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening, whatever time it is for you. I would just invite you just to get comfortable where you are. We're going to settle in for these first few breaths together as you just get physically comfortable in the space where you have found yourself. And as the day is coming to a close for many of us, just kind of check in with yourself and just see how much of this day you're still holding on to. We've got a new week ahead of us. Tomorrow night is the new moon. There's a lot going on in the atmosphere and the energy around us. So just check in and give yourself some compassion and some grace as we've arrived to this spot to spend these few minutes together. And then as you're getting comfortable and you're just kind of committing to yourself compassion and grace and patience, I would invite you to gently close your eyes or look down toward the ground, whatever feels better for you. And then just start to settle in with some really intentional breath. You set the pace for your inhale and your exhale. And as you do that, just notice the way that the physical you, the emotional you, the mental you starts to settle in as well. That breath is our trigger to become calm and quiet and still. And the really amazing thing is that when it works for us in our meditation time, that's a reminder that it works for us all throughout the rest of the day as well. And so just notice that breath. And as you're beginning to settle with the breath and all the parts of you, I want to just frame our time that we're going to spend together for these few minutes. You know, one of my teachers teaches me that when you come to meditation, oftentimes it's a good idea just to be still and to be quiet. Other times you need something to hang on to. You need a mantra to repeat. You need some kind of a repetition, maybe a prayer, maybe something that you've heard that can just bring you some comfort and some peace. And so I want to go back to that teaching the way that I learned it, and I want to share with you some words that when I pause and I remember these words, they really check my spirit and they remind me of what I should be doing with each breath, each moment that I'm given during the day. And these words come from St. Francis of Assisi. And this is a prayer, and once I say it, you will all probably think, I've heard that before. But what I'd like us to do is, as I share these words with you, just see if there are any that really stick out as I go through these words that have been repeated so many times in history, so many places across the planet. See if there's just one word, one phrase within this prayer that he has shared that resonates with you. And then as I frame our time, we'll use whatever it was for each of us that kind of resonated, and we'll use that and apply it to our everyday lives. And so just continue to breathe and just let these words just kind of wash over you. And again, see what part of it resonates and really stands out to you individually. He says in his prayer, Lord, make me an instrument of peace. Where there is hatred, let me sow love. Where there is injury, let me sow pardon. Where there is doubt, let me sow fear. Where there is despair, let me sow hope. Where there is darkness, let me sow light. Where there is sadness, let me sow joy. And grant that I may not so much seek to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, and to be loved as to love. For it is in giving that we each receive. And some of those words may conjure up memories for you. Probably that last line is one that just really sticks with most of us. For it is in giving that we receive. And what I'd like us to do for these few minutes that we have is just see if there were any of those words that stuck out. And I'm going to go over them again in a second. But I want us to really think about our meditation practice today as this infilling of us so that we can give in whatever way that we need to. And even more specifically, that we can give in a way that we want to receive. Because what we tend to do is we look out and we want to receive joy. We want it so badly. We want to receive faith. We want to receive love. We want to be understood. But what our yoga practice, our meditation practice teach us is that it all starts with a spirit of giving. The selfless service that's just part of this path. And so what I'd like for each of us to do is, if there was a word that stood out or a phrase, just kind of hang on to that. But then also let's each just think, right now, in your very real, very in the moment life, where are you experiencing the most pain? For some of you, your pain has to do with sorrow. For some, it has to do with doubt. For others, it has to do with not being understood or heard. And maybe there's some, it has to do with not feeling that you're loved. But for all of us, let's just think, where in my life is my pain point? Where is the thing that I'm struggling with the most? Our meditation practice does not create immunity from struggle. Struggle is part of life. And what it helps us to do is to realize this area that I am struggling with the most might be an area where I need to give. Because if I need to receive being understood, what this wise person from so many years ago told us is I've got to start by understanding others. My pain point is the sorrow that I am grappling with in my life. He tells us, instead, work on sowing joy. And what we find out is that when you give those things, that is then what you receive. Karma Yoga teaches us that every action has a reaction. So just imagine if sorrow is your trouble point right now, if you sow joy, joy comes back. If you seek to understand, understanding of you comes back. It's not an immediate thing. It doesn't come in the terms of the world, but it is this beautiful cosmic play of energy and how things just work in the universe. And so I want to just read through his words once more. See if the same word or the same phrase resonates with you that you already thought of. And if you didn't quite have one that stuck out, just listen again and just see which is the one that I really need in my life right now, that I'm struggling with. And then we'll use that to frame our time of quiet together. He says, Lord, make me an instrument of peace. Where there is hatred, let me sow love. Where there is injury, let me sow pardon. Where there is doubt, let me sow faith. Where there is despair, let me sow hope. Where there is darkness, let me sow light. Where there is sadness, let me sow joy. And grant that I may not so much seek to be consoled as to console, or to be understood as to understand, or to love, or to be loved as much as to love. For it is in giving that we receive. And so as we each are in our own individual space with our own individual thoughts. Whichever is the thing that you really need right now in your life. If you need a little stronger faith, or you need a little more joy, or you need some consolation, whatever it is, let's just sit and reflect quietly here in this present moment where we are on where in our life and in our path we could give the thing that we are seeking. So if you really need some hope because of something that you're struggling with right now, let's think about, where can you give hope? Where can you pass along what's inside of you to someone else so that you can receive it back in the way that you need it? It's not doing it out of a selfish motivation, but it comes from a heart of knowing that there's something that's missing in my life, but then when I dig in deeper, I realize I've already got a supply of it deep down inside of me. It's just been silenced or muted or forgotten for a while. Because you see, we all have light, and we all have hope, and we have love, and we have this peace that he talks about. We just get a little overwhelmed by the despair and the sadness and the lack of being understood. It doesn't make you wrong, it just makes you human. So let's just sit for the next couple of minutes in quiet. And whatever your thing, your word, your phrase was, just be open and ask yourself the question, where could I bring that? Where can I bring joy tomorrow or the next day? Where can I share faith with someone in my path? Where can I pause and really try to understand someone that I encounter in the next few days? You don't have to answer the question. You're not looking for the solution. Just ask yourself the question, which then signifies that you're open and you're willing. And through it all, let's just continue to breathe. Long, slow, deep, calming breaths. He begins his prayer with the words, "Make me an instrument of peace." And then he closes it out with, "For it is in giving that we receive." Each of us have the chance to leave our meditation time and to be an extension, an instrument of peace. And that peace is going to look like faith in some of your interactions. It's going to look like hope. It's going to look like light and joy and consolation and understanding. And when we can share those things with others the way that we receive them in our meditation practice, because they all come from a spirit of peace, when we can begin to share it and give it, Karma Yoga teaches us that for every action there will be a reaction. And as we give, we will receive. And so let's prepare to close out our time together. Each of us committing in our own way, in our own part of the world, in our own corner, to sow love and pardon and faith and hope and light and joy and consolation and understanding and love. And then let's just see how we begin to see some shifts in our own life. Because it is in giving that we truly do receive. Namaste.